We want to stay on that breaking news now. 4 Ontario school boards are launching lawsuits seeking billions of dollars from social media companies. The lawsuits allege social media is rewiring students and contributing to a mental health crisis. Megan Fitzpatrick joins us now with more. So Megan, good morning. Thanks for being here. Take us through a little bit of what this suit is alleging.
Yeah, these suits were filed in court yesterday, Hillary. They are 4 separate but similar lawsuits, and they are being filed by the Toronto District School Board. That's the biggest one in Canada, as well as the Toronto Catholic District School Board, the Peel District School Board, and then Ottawa Carleton District School Board. And they are taking the companies to court that own TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. Now, some of the key things alleged in these lawsuits include that these social media platforms are disrupting student learning, disrupting the education system, and that they're causing serious harm for young people. The suits claim that the platforms were negligently designed for compulsive use, that they're intentionally designed to be addictive, and that they are ending up rewiring the way children think, behave, and critically to these lawsuits, the way that they learn. And they say the school boards are the ones dealing with the consequences of this. They claim that students are having trouble paying attention in class, that these social media platforms are contributing to a mental health crisis because of their compulsive use by young people. And they say that the social media platforms knew or ought to have known that their negligent conduct is causing harm to students. And they say that these platforms are, the result of this is putting a drain on resources and staff for the school boards. Now, they are seeking compensation, Hillary, but the lawyer representing these school boards say there's a bigger goal here. Here's some of what he's saying.
The best case scenario, I can give it to you in one word: change, meaningful change to the nature of the algorithmic designs underlying these products, change to the age restrictions associated with them, change to the parental controls, but also change in terms of the resources and abilities our schools have to educate our children in a new world with a new problem affecting their attention and behavior.
Now, he says he's not going to get into some of the evidence that will be presented in court. That will come later, but he does reference that there's scientific research out there making a correlation between social media use and negative harms on young people. He says, Hillary, he won't be surprised if more school boards join these kinds of lawsuits.
What sort of reaction are you hearing so far?
Well, again, none of these allegations have been proven in court. Important to say, we are reaching out to the social media companies for reaction. The Toronto Star, one of the first media outlets to report on this story, they have a statement from Snapchat saying that they say there's always more work to do, but they feel good about the role their company plays in helping people connect. Our colleague Ali Chiasson is out right now out of school trying to get reaction from parents who no doubt will have a lot to say about this, a lot to say about how their kids are using social media platforms. And we're gathering more reaction from the school boards as well. The chair of the Toronto District School Board saying they want to hold these social media companies accountable. Important to note as well, they say no taxpayer dollars are being used in these lawsuits. The law firm for now is acting on a contingency basis, so they'll get paid if they win the lawsuits.
We have more now for you on our top story. Ontario's 4 largest school boards are launching lawsuits against the social media giants behind Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, seeking more than $4 billion in damages, citing the app's impacts on schools, kids, and learning. The accusations are damning. But if you have kids, perhaps not all of that is surprising. The lawsuits allege that social media products are, quote, negligently designed for compulsive use. They claim that this has had a rewiring effect on students, changing the way they, quote, think, behave, and learn, while leaving it to teachers and schools to manage the fallout and enormous costs of navigating what the lawsuits call a mental health crisis. Rachel Chernos-Lynn is the chair of the Toronto District School Board. That's the largest school board in Canada. We have reached her this morning in Toronto. Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Hillary. Happy to be here.
I think a good place to start here is with why. Why is your school board, why are these other school boards launching this legal action now?
Well, we've just seen such a significant change in student behavior and student mental health and well-being that it is just incumbent upon us to speak up, and we cannot wait any longer. We have seen these social media companies who have knowingly created an addictive product that is creating intense harm and continuing to create intense harm to our children. And it is really disrupting their education and our ability to rectify that. So we need the social media giants to rectify this problem and to be held accountable, quite frankly, as well.
Talk to us about the types of behaviors that you're seeing in students.
So we know that kids have reported tremendous increases in mental health, in anxiety. We're seeing behavioral outbursts in students at much more alarming rates than previously. This has been rising. It's becoming more intense. And we know that kids are using social media to such an extent in terms of addiction that we're very concerned. Recent polls have shown that about 45% of students are spending over 5 hours a day on social media. And another poll showing that over 1/5 of students report being bullied on Instagram in the last 7 days alone. Imagine once a week. Imagine the impact that that's having on student mental health and their well-being, not to mention their attention spans and their ability to concentrate in school.
Rachel, of course, the pandemic was so hard on so many people and for so long, whether that was because students were at home learning remotely, they were not with their friends, with their teachers in a classroom setting, whatever it might be. How do you know that some of the behaviors that you're seeing are because of social media and not because of the very, very trying few years that everyone just lived through?
Well, there's evidence that these products are knowingly addictive. They were created that way. And students are reporting the challenges that they're facing from social media. And we're seeing that. They're saying that they feel anxious when they can't look at their social media. That's a problem. We want kids to be interacting with each other. We're seeing the impacts of the changes on their brains as it's playing out in school. And as parents have been talking to us and teachers have been talking to us for the last few years about this. So we're deeply concerned and we're saying enough is enough. And social media companies need to be held responsible, and they need to improve these products to make them safer for kids. We know social media isn't going away. We know it's something we have to learn to live with, but we also have to make sure that it's done in a safe way and created to be safer for students.
Last hour, we spoke with one of the lawyers, Duncan Embry, who's involved in all of this. I'm hoping that you can maybe take us behind the scenes just a little bit and help us understand who reached out to who here. Was this the school boards that decided that they wanted to pursue this? We know, for example, that the law firm is sort of working off of a contingency fund here. So help us understand who approached who to get all of this rolling.
So you got cut off a little bit at the end, but what I can tell you is that this is done at no cost to school boards. They are indeed paid on contingency. This is something that's been done in the States. And I have to tell you, school boards have been talking about the harmful impact of social media and the addictive qualities of social media on our students and what we're seeing and the impact it's having on kids. We've been talking about this for several years now. This is nothing new for us in terms of issues. It's just that it's becoming so much more significant year by year that we know we have to act. It is our responsibility to act to protect children.
And while we're listening to you sort of go through some of these major concerns, there might be parents at home that are thinking, well, if my child has been exposed to this, what am I supposed to do now? Because what is being alleged is obviously quite serious in terms of the impact here on kids, on students. What's your message to parents who might be hearing this morning and whose children go to one of these school boards?
Well, to be honest, I don't think parents will be shocked. Parents have been talking to us about the concerns they're having about their children, what they're seeing in terms of cell phone use, social media use with kids, particularly social media. This is something that they've been talking about for quite some time. They're talking about it with themselves as well, but with particularly young brain development, it's an even bigger concern. So I don't think parents will be surprised. I think they'll be happy to see that we're standing up for kids and that we're calling on these companies to make changes and to be held responsible.
And then on that note, and I asked this question as well to lawyer Duncan Embury, what's the best case scenario here in terms of outcomes? What in particular, when you're saying you'd like to see change, what in particular would you like to see happen?
Well, it's really up to the courts to decide at this point, but we are looking for substantial changes in terms of how these products are made to make sure that they're safer for kids. And we're also looking for financial compensation because really the problem that's been created, students need resources and supports to make sure that they are made whole again, so that they are helped and created in, to ensure that we are able to provide what they need to get them back on the path to productive exchanges with each other, making sure they're able to learn better, making sure that school is everything it should be for kids. And that's a big part of this as well. The resources that they need are so substantial because of the mental health impacts of these completely addictive products that have been pushed on them.
Rachel, we're going to leave it there for today, but I really want to thank you for your time, for coming on to speak with us about all of this developing story this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Hillary.
Rachel Chernos-Lynn is the chair of the Toronto District School Board, and we've reached her in Toronto.